Hello, people of YouTube. It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be discussing Ozark. We are with the 10th episode of Season 4. We are progressively getting through the show. We're about to be ending it. Maybe not this weekend, but next Friday I'm probably going to do like a little finale video. It's going to be nice and cool. But yeah, this is the fucking dream right here, what we're talking about this episode, because, man, Marty is in charge. Man. So, as Marty works the Mexican cartel, Wendy works the Ozarks, trying to keep her foundation alive by getting in Ruth's way. Because she's the only way getting in the way of the birds stuff. They're almost better business partners when they're in different parts of the world, which is crazy. Marty sees the potentially vicious side of his future turn into a bloody reality, while Wendy feels pressure from everywhere, and she does what she does best, lashes out. Can't control her emotions. We've learned that about Wendy. But yeah, so the episode opens with a poignant flashback to Ben's last day on Earth, which is really fucked up. Just seeing Tom Pelphrey's face again reminds one how good he was in Season 3. He should have been an Emmy winner. The scene unfolds on the road trip at the end of his life. At a restaurant, he thought Wendy had gone to the bathroom, but she's not in there. She's gone. It's the assassin for the cartel who pulls a gun on Ben, and he starts begging for his life. Then for him to relay Ben's message to Wendy that he's sorry. It's just so fucking sad and so fucked up, and you feel more angry towards Wendy now, you know. It's an echo of the monologue in the car from his last episode, but somehow even more painful. You think she'd be proud of me now? He asked about Wendy, even as she's the one who sent him to his impending death. He should be furious at Wendy, but he has nothing but forgiveness for her. He feels guilty. He feels like he's caused trouble for her throughout their lives. And now he just wants to say sorry, and it's really fucked up. It's a scene that shows that we don't really know people or how they will respond. That and the coldness at the center of Wendy's heart. His final words, "This is a dream. There's no way this is happening." So he gets shot in the head. It's so brutal, man. This movie really, it's so effective at showing these character deaths and just creating this sympathy. So back in reality, Marty is on his way to Mexico, recalling advice from Omar about how to win over the Navarro cartel and make them both trust and fear him. He can't show an ounce of weakness or they will join forces with a rival, and obviously Omar doesn't want that because this is his cartel, this is like his family legacy and stuff, and he wants to uphold that. So, yeah. He tells Omar's people that Javi is dead on the orders of Navarro. I got him killed because he was causing problems. He was trying to one up. He had too much pride, and some of the people kind of understood this because they knew Javi from when he was getting involved with the cartel through family relations, of course. So Marty's plan is to take over until they can get Omar out of prison. He confidently reassures a skeptical Camilla, who's played by Veronica Falcone, who's kind of getting some of her first big lines here. The parallel tracks of Marty and Wendy in this episode, along with a really confident direction, make this one of the best of the season. This is a really good episode here. While Marty is playing power games in Mexico, Wendy is doing the same, trying to talk Ruth out of working with Claire Shaw. It doesn't go well. And then Wendy meets Sergeant Guerrero's replacement, a schmo named Deputy Wyckoff, new character played by Brad Carter. A couple introduced characters in this episode, so it's really interesting. A couple new players to kind of get this second half of the season rolling. She plays to his ego by encouraging him to turn his acting sheriff status into a full-time one with some big moves. Cut to the lawman at the Lazy O talking to Sam, who explains some of his female conflicts of interest before pointing him to Jonah's room. What's Wendy's play here? Pressure Jonah? Wyckoff wants to ask him a few questions, but Jonah doesn't seem too rattled. It's not like he's panicking here. He knows how to handle shit. He's learned from his parents. Yeah. As it heats up, Nathan interrupts the conversation, protecting his grandson, and you gotta really appreciate this guy. Obviously, he hasn't been around for this whole show, but then you kind of realize the origin of their family and how Wendy used to neglect their family and didn't really fuck with any of them. It's crazy. Kind of understand his point of view. So Wendy knows she can't put the pieces back together with Jim Rattlesdorf, who is still wigged out from Javi's violent outburst on Marty from the mid-season finale. Who wouldn't be? I feel like the average person would be pretty fucking freaked out about, guys like Javi. But Wendy plays hardball. You've worked your whole life for this, she tells him, playing to his ego. Ego, ego, ego. That's what she attacks. I mean, she wants whales for a casino event that will get all the money she needs. He agrees to make some calls. Say what you will about Wendy Bird, but she can still be very convincing. She's a really good businesswoman. It's obviously like with a political background, that definitely helps too. You know. While Mel is hot on Wendy's trail as he investigates Ben's disappearance, Wyckoff is tailing Ruth. So, you know, the authorities are starting to close in on these people. We're getting towards the end of the show. Makes sense for pacing purposes. After spotting his men, she gives the acting sheriff a piece of her mind. Wendy is playing chess and you're playing fucking Candyland, she says. Great quote. However, Ruth does need help to get around this roadblock and goes to Frank Jr. to get it. He says that he didn't think she'd be a Darlene Snell. He thought she was more of a Marty Bird. I ain't neither of them, she says, and she's kind of offended. Obviously, that's like putting her in a box, and it's not something she wants. I mean, that's for sure, though. She's definitely one of a kind, and she later gets around Wyckoff by using Frank to help move the product while she serves as the decoy. I'm not sure how they didn't catch... I don't know. It's interesting how that situation went down. Marty is auditing some books when he discovers that decimal points were dropped 3 times in a row. Someone cooked the books and is skimming from Navarro. Not good. So while the accountant responsible for the cooked books is getting beaten by a soldier named Arturo, another new character played by Reynaldo Fabure, someone tries to kill Omar in prison. Omar gets the advantage and chokes out his assassin, but he falls into a coma from the blood loss. So all this kind of happens coincidentally, and it's looking like Arturo. It's a decent alibi for Arturo doing this and being up to this. Wendy calls and tells Marty, who knows this information can't leak, it has to be impossible to take Omar down. Yeah, he was into a coma, which is crazy. They need to find out who did this. We do what Navarro would do, says Marty. And just then, Camilla walks out and lights a cigarette. Was she behind it? Taking out her own brother? Interesting. Marty believes it was Arturo. He was jealous of Javi, and they caught him cheating the cartel. So a lot of things kind of stack against him. So Marty is in full gangster mode already, man. I mean, does Marty know at this point that it's likely he can't leave Mexico without killing Arturo? Marty oversees the torture of Arturo, hoping to get a confession out of him. He uses every piece of information at his disposal. Arturo was skimming, jealous, and didn't know why Omar picked Javi over him because he was like a top soldier. I mean, it makes sense. It's like a family member, though, so I don't know. But Marty needs a confession, and he needs to know who else was involved. So yeah, it's kind of like when he was getting tortured himself, so he's kind of taking after that. It's a really cool parallel. So after hearing from Ruth that Claire no longer needs the Bird's drugs, Wendy gets a bigger blow from Jim after he cancels their bigwig casino event. Shaw is pulling their contributions from the rehab venture. Wendy calls Claire, threatening that she shouldn't make the people Wendy works for unhappy. You know who these people are. Like, what are you doing? So, speaking of unhappy, Arturo is in a world of pain as he's waterboarded into admitting he ordered the hit, even though he probably fucking didn't do it. Yes, Arturo says he messed with the books, but it was just to take the profit that he thought he deserved. Like, he worked hard for the cartel. He's been with these people for years. After more torture, Arturo finally gives in, confessing to something he clearly didn't do. Like, yeah, at some point, like, you could say, oh, he's a liar. He just doesn't want to tell the truth. But it's like, no, he probably didn't do it. Like, you kind of realize that after a while. It gets to a point there. A crestfallen Marty calls Wendy. What can he do now? The guy who killed Ben, seen in a flashback in the prologue, bookends the episode, prepared to take out someone else who made the mistake of getting in the orbit of Marty and Wendy Bird. Marty looks at Father Benitez. He looks down to watch Arturo get killed. He knows he has to look because it shows his toughness. He can't show the weakness to the cartel like what was discussed before. A lot of interesting stuff we can talk about. I mean, Charlotte recounting the history of Sam Dermody is quite amazing. I don't know what's wrong with him now. It's funny. His mom got hit by a truck. He fell in love with a stripper. He had a gambling addiction. Poor Sam, but I mean, he's still alive, and at least he's active in the series. Just a couple extra notes here that we didn't discuss. Jonah's line about why he works for Ruth was funny. We're friends. I like math. I mean, what a stupid excuse. Veronica Falcone strikes an imposing, often silent figure. The Mexican actress has been in a couple good movies for HBO. Yeah. Anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I am out. I gotta get going on editing this hardened video, trying to get that video out for you guys. Then I'm gonna have to watch Ozark, and we're actually gonna be reviewing Insidious Red Door, which just recently got put on Netflix. We're gonna be reviewing that for you guys tomorrow. I gotta get kind of caught up with the storyline. Call of Duty is out today. We're gonna be streaming that on Twitch pretty much all day, whenever I can. I gotta cram some